Welcome back to our conversation with Sisters of the Skies. We're showcasing Black women who are changing the narrative from the cockpit. Captain Theresa Claiborne is the pilot pioneer who made her mark as the first Black woman to fly in the United States Air Force. It's just amazing to even say that. She just retired from a commercial airline after 34 years of service. And joining the conversation is First Officer Stephanie Grant. She broke records as well when she flew alongside another Black female pilot nearly 15 years ago. And that route marked the first time a commercial airline had two Black women flying an aircraft. Also here with us today is Travasha Runyon. She went from flight attendant to earning her wings. She's also a certified flight instructor. Welcome to the show, ladies. It's good to have you and have these different three generations essentially of flight. This has to make you proud.
It makes me very proud.
And I want to hear your stories. I want to start with you, Captain. First Officer.
Yes, so I'm originally from Sumter, South Carolina. In Sumter, South Carolina is an Air Force base, Shaw Air Force Base. So that's kind of where the seed was planted for me. I didn't know what aviation would look like, and I would just be outside. I would see the airplanes flying overhead and knew that I didn't want to be down here. I wanted to be up there, and that's how I started pursuing.
And you wanted to be there flying it, not just the passenger, right? You wanted to be in the cockpit.
Eventually, that's what it ended up being.
Yeah.
At the time, as a 5-6-year-old, I didn't know exactly that is what that was. But I was able to go into the Air Force Base one time with an uncle, and I was finally like, oh, man. Being a pilot is what I want to do.
I've got to do this. And so you were laser-like focused. This is what you essentially studied, right? This is what you wanted to do, and you made it happen.
I did. I didn't study aviation. I actually went to Hampton University. I have a degree in psychology. I enrolled in Army ROTC with the aspirations of being an aviator in the Army, not the Air Force, I'm sorry. But but I wasn't chosen. So I did go in and do my service, my time in service, and I got out and used my Montgomery GI Bill to pay for flight school as a civilian.
Wow.
So that's how that happened.
Wow.
So just because it didn't happen the way I thought it was going to happen, I still made a way
to make
for it
a way. Yes,
make it
indeed,
happen,
making a way. And then Travasha, tell me your story. How did you end up in the cockpit?
Yeah, so my parents, I grew up in a broken but loving home, and so I kind of grew up on what I call the backside of aviation. My dad and my mother were in the Air Force, and then when my father got out, he became an engineer for the FAA, which he still continues to do today.
Yeah, from a different perspective then.
Exactly. Yeah. Some of my earliest memories include like climbing up to the very top of the Indianapolis Tower and flying paper airplanes off of the top.
Oh,
so
my gosh.
I love that. But because they were separated, I also grew up in as an unaccompanied minor on different airlines, flying back and forth to my parents between Texas and Indiana.
So how old were you the first time you flew unaccompanied?
I think I was 6.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Yeah.
So were you like, do you remember, or were you just like looking in the cockpit like, how can I get in there?
I just knew, I don't remember exactly, I just knew that I wanted to join the airlines any way, any shape, any form, in some capacity.
So you became a flight attendant.
Yes.
So tell me about, explain.
Okay,
instead of going off to pilot, you
exactly
wanted
right.
to be the flight attendant.
So my future stepmother, when my dad married, when he remarried, she actually is a flight attendant.
Okay.
And so what I saw before me was my choices of being an engineer in the FAA, which I'm like, my dad's IQ is like way more than mine. So probably not going that route. So I decided to become a flight attendant.
Yeah.
And as I was going through, and I was always that flight attendant that would take extra time sitting in the flight deck, would giving the pilots extra bathroom breaks because I was up there asking questions and asking, what does this button do, and what does this button do? And
so it was a given that you were going to end up right where we see you now.
I wasn't quite sure yet. I always thought it was something that was not quite obtainable because honestly I didn't see a lot of representation in the flight deck with people that looked like me. One day I did see a fellow co-worker she was a minority woman, and she was going through and getting her pilot ratings, and that's what made me seriously look into it.
That sparked it. And so now you've been taking flight lessons for how long now?
I started in March of 2022.
Wow.
And I just became a certified flight instructor.
Congratulations to you. For all three of you. There are different paths that got you to the cockpit, but I love that it all started with a dream and envisioning, seeing yourself in that space. How important is it to make sure that other girls are seeing the three of you in these spaces? We're retired now, but to see the image of you.
Right. Well, if you build it, they will come, right? So we clearly believe in that. It's like we want to put the best foot forward. We want little girls to look and go. And with our programs, we generally will always wear our uniform because we want them to actually see, oh my goodness, if you can see it, you can be it.
Right.
And they clam onto that. It's important.
Yeah. First Officer Grant, tell me the kind of conversations girls and women have with you when they see you.
They're really proud. Me being in uniform is also a level of exposure because especially in the airport, when they don't see someone like me and then I show up, then that's another revelation that I can do that as well because she can do that. And I don't think that there's anything super special about any of us sitting here right now except the fact that we had a dream and we went after it. So if we can share that with them as much as possible, then they can dream larger than they've ever dreamed before and do the same thing. And we're here to help.
Absolutely. And I think it speaks volumes. I think it was the FAA that said black women represent fewer than 1% of pilots. Does that shock you?
It's not shocking. There's still less than maybe 250 of us that fly commercially in the United States. So it's still a very small community or sorority, as you may say.
Yeah, exactly.
But we want to increase those numbers.
And that's what you're doing. We're going to continue this conversation after the break about the kind of encouragement, what you say to your kids, right? When the children say, I want to fly. These ladies, these pilots are going to tell us what you say. You nurture that. Sit tight. The conversation continues after the break. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And I really want to thank you for season 3 of Portia. It's because of loyal viewers like you that we keep getting to share this daily dose of positivity all across the country. So just a reminder, I still need you to like, comment, and subscribe. And go ahead and tell your friends. You can catch us now in Orlando, in San Francisco, in Atlanta, and all across the country on Fox Soul. Tell your friends. We'll see you soon on Portia.